A disappearance, DNA evidence, digital footprints, and now a comparison to one of America's most closely watched murder investigations. The search for Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie, is drawing attention for a key investigative technique also used in the case against Bryan Kohberger, the man convicted in the 2022 murders of 4 University of Idaho students. But a legal expert says the similarity may raise a much bigger question. If investigators have access to DNA, cell site records, surveillance footage, and other digital data, why has the Guthrie investigation apparently not produced the kind of breakthrough seen in the Idaho case? And his theory about what may have happened behind the scenes is now putting the investigation under fresh scrutiny. According to an Irish Star report, Nancy vanished from her Tucson, Arizona home during the early hours of February 1st. Her last confirmed sighting was the previous evening after a family dinner, when her son-in-law reportedly brought her back home. Investigators later found blood and additional DNA samples at the location. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos confirmed the material remained under examination, with DNA being entered into genetic genealogy databases. That detail is significant because investigative genetic genealogy has transformed several major criminal investigations. When DNA recovered from a crime scene does not produce a match in conventional law enforcement databases, investigators can examine genetic variations and use genealogy databases to search for potential relatives. And that is where the comparison with Bryan Kohberger begins. Investigative genetic genealogy was used during the investigation that ultimately focused on Kohberger. In his case, DNA recovered from a knife sheath found at the crime scene became a critical piece of evidence. Authorities later linked DNA from the sheath to DNA obtained from Kohberger's father after investigators collected garbage outside the Kohberger family residence. Prosecutors also disclosed that investigative genetic genealogy had initially helped direct investigators towards Kohberger. But DNA was not the only evidence authorities examined. Law enforcement obtained data from Kohberger's phone and reviewed his internet search history. Investigators also relied on surveillance footage and cell phone records while building the case. That combination of physical evidence and digital information is exactly why one legal expert quoted in the report believes the comparison with the Guthrie investigation deserves attention. Legal expert Chad D. Cummings told the Mirror US that investigators in the Guthrie case would likely have had access to powerful digital tools very early. Kohberger was identified in part by cell site records. Cummings also pointed to surveillance footage, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth connection data as potentially significant sources of information. That is a major claim, but it is important to separate the expert's assessment from confirmed findings by investigators. The report says Cummings believes 2 suspects were likely identified early by the FBI using cell site and ALPR data, referring to automatic license plate reader information. However, that remains his assessment. It does not establish that authorities actually identified 2 suspects or prove why any particular investigative path was or was not pursued. Cummings goes further, suggesting that the Guthrie case may have stalled because of friction between agencies. The Guthrie case stalled, in my view, because of a probable conflict of interest between federal and local law enforcement. Again, the crucial words here are "in my view." This is the legal expert's theory, not a confirmed explanation from the FBI or local authorities. According to the report, Cummings believes a decision was made not to pursue a particular line of investigation, but without official confirmation, questions about why investigators made specific decisions remain just that, questions. What is confirmed in the reporting is that investigators have been examining DNA evidence, and genetic genealogy is part of that process, and the Kohberger case demonstrates why that technique can be so important. The two cases themselves are dramatically different. Kohberger's case involved 4 people killed inside an Idaho home and a crime scene that produced physical evidence investigators could analyze. The Guthrie case, according to the report, centers on a disappearance and an ongoing effort to determine what happened and identify those responsible. So the comparison is not that the cases are identical, it's about the investigative toolbox. DNA can point investigators towards a family tree. Cell site information can help reconstruct movements. License plate readers can identify vehicles traveling through particular areas. Surveillance cameras can create a timeline. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connections can potentially reveal whether devices were present near particular locations. Individually, each clue may tell investigators very little. Combined, they can potentially create a digital map of crucial moments. And that's why the comparison with Kohberger has attracted attention. The Idaho investigation showed how genetic genealogy, DNA, cell phone information, and surveillance evidence can converge to narrow an enormous investigation towards one person. In the Nancy Guthrie case, investigators reportedly have DNA evidence and access to sophisticated digital investigative tools. But having data and turning that data into evidence that can withstand scrutiny are two very different things. Investigators must establish whose DNA it belongs to, whether it's relevant, when it was deposited, and whether digital records actually connect a person to the disappearance. So for now, the Bryan Kohberger comparison offers no simple answer to what happened to Nancy Guthrie. Instead, it highlights the possibilities of modern investigations and the unanswered questions surrounding this one. A strand of DNA can lead to an entire family tree. A cell phone can leave behind a trail. A camera can capture seconds that change an investigation. But every clue still has to connect. And until investigators can connect those pieces in the Nancy Guthrie case, the biggest question remains unanswered. What happened after she returned home that night? And can the technology that helped crack the Idaho investigation finally help reveal the truth here?